Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome, 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 welcome. Hi, Monica. How are you? How are you doing? What are you reading? What are you up to? Oops. I am missing Sam. She cannot make it tonight. So I thought I'll just do it. We'll just do it and talk about it together instead of pushing it back. Hello. Hi. 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 Hello. Hello. Hi. Beautiful people. Just posting on Instagram. I don't even know if you can hear Brandon. He's talking to his friends. Hello, hello. Let me know what you're reading. I would love to know what you are reading. Oh my god. All my emails are coming through. I'm like, please go away. Sorry, I was reading email. Let me know what you're reading. Oops, Maya is in a slump. I'm sorry. Slumps suck. Session falls. Oh, did you get the ALC for that, Monica? I saw some other people getting the ALC for that. Are you liking it? Or did you like it? Assistant to the Villain. How are you liking this? I've heard some mixed things, so I can get the audiobook from my library, but I'm not sure. Oh, caught up? Lizelle, you were on top of all the arcs, man. In a fantasy mood as of late, yes. Her Soul for Revenge. Okay. Virtue I Fall by Cora. Cool. Dark City Omega. I'm listening to A Deal with the Devil. Rich Boys, Best Friends to Lovers, Unrequited Love. You know, that sounds like For the Fans, minus the Best Friends to Lovers. Oh, cool. Is it super romantic suspensey? I've heard that one is. I'm reading this book currently for a blog. It's coming out next week. Behind the Net. I'm only 25% in. Anyway, we're actually here. These comments just popped up. Measure of a Man. 2 weeks. Okay. Like the Ella Enchanted. I love Eda. Okay. Her Soul to Take. Waiting for October. Yeah. Her Soul to Take is a very much October book. I'm liking it. So far it's good. She had a crush on him when she was younger. And it is her. He's super grumpy. There's a little puppy. I say little. It's like a puppy he finds at the beginning, which is interesting, and I liked it. So yeah, so far it's going good. Not hating it, but I'm interested. Like, we're going with it. Hi, welcome. It is romance and suspense, but it didn't detract. Also, Grumpy Sunshine. Nice. Okay. Oh, this is a historical pick. Historical Hellions pick. Yeah. I know, Lizelle. I saw you literally have all the arcs. One, I'm jealous because I did not sign up for that many arcs. Like, I always forget the deadline. But yeah, I'm excited to read this one. I'm so excited for her. Like, I'm so excited. Yep, that audio just came out on the 3rd, right? Yesterday. But we're here to discuss this book, Paula Ruin, which is JLA's newest book. I got this from Jess at Honest Fiction. She sent it to me. Well, for our birthday. We had the same birthday, but anyway, confusing. So I read this back in September, and even though I've been sitting on it for a while, I still feel conflicted. So before I say my rating, tell me your rating. Tell me your rating in the comments. One Dark Window. Rachel Gillick? I've never heard of this book. Who's been talking about this? Last year. So okay, it's horror though. Horror gothic. Because how horror-y is it? Because I can't do super horror. Like I can do gory stuff. Earl to remember and reread her story. Nice. I haven't been on Instagram that much in the last couple days, so maybe I missed it. Okay, you gave it 5 stars. First JLA. That's interesting. This was your first JLA. Why did you pick up this book as your first JLA? I'm curious about that. Me and Sam both love JLA. Between 4.5 and 4.5. Okay, Melissa, that's really good. Oh, Kamal, I think I remember you saying this. Yeah. Okay, very fair point. This also affected my reading. Okay, that gives me some hope. Okay, the tag on Goodreads said horror. I will keep that one. I might add that to something. I DNF'd because the world building was too confusing to me. It was my first JLA. Okay. 3 stars at the beginning was slow, but I like the end. Same Lizelle. 4.5. Okay, good. That's what I figured. Yeah. Even her spin-off series, you kind of still have to read From Blood and Ash to like really get to it. Okay, so I gave this 3 on Goodreads, and then I think I rated it like truly 3.5 stars. So for everyone who rated it 4 or higher, like 4, 4.5, 5 stars, is this your first JLA? I know some people already said. And the people who rated it lower than that, was that your first? Like, how many books have you read by JLA? Let me know. Because I'm interested. I do agree, Lizelle, the beginning was super slow. So for the people who said the world building was confusing, Monica, I know you said this, and I think Kamal, because it was slow. Yeah, so this world building is so much more simpler than From Blood and Ash. From Blood and Ash is so info dumpy at the beginning. Like she just dumped everything at the beginning, and it was extremely heavy. Like the first 100 pages of From Blood and Ash is heavy. And for this book, I actually did not think it was too bad, if that makes sense. Like I didn't think that the beginning, while it was slow, like I think how many pages? I want to say it was the first like 150, 200 pages, but this is significantly smaller of a book than From Blood and Ash, if that makes sense. So I think From Blood and Ash is 600 pages and this is 400. So she cut 200 pages out, which is weird that like I love From Blood and Ash, but I think that was because that was my first fantasy romance, like one of like top, like one out of the 3 first fantasy romance I've read. And this I've read a lot more since then. I know remember you tagging us, Melissa, saying that you finished this in the day. Okay, I do think that this was clearly edited a lot better. Is this a different? Oh, this is with Bramble. So I do know that she has this with Bramble, which is a different publisher than For Blood and Ashes, which I find interesting because I do think that actually the editing in this was different. I just feel like this was still really long and the ending didn't make up for it. Like this surprise at the end. That makes sense. Like she always does this. Okay. Oh, so you thought this was slower and From Blood and Ash was fine. Interesting. Yeah, I still love From Blood and Ash. Oh my God, Amanda. How are you? My fellow little redheaded a booktuber. 4 stars for me. I did agree with this. So for the plot, because of how it ended, JLA, most fantasy authors do this, especially if there's a series. They will be like, oh my God, here's the end, surprise. And there's this like big thing that comes out at the end, right? Which is great. Sometimes it makes up for the slowness of the book. For me, it didn't necessarily. She did it in From Blood and Ash. She did it in Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. Like every single one has it. So I was expecting something to come out at the end. I don't know how the second book's going to be, but I feel like based on her writing, I just feel like she could have cut this 100 pages shorter so the beginning wasn't so slow, because I know she was trying to develop the world building in a not so confusing way to everyone, because that was a big critique with the From Blood and Ash world in general and the spinoff series. So like she took that critique, put it in here, but it was slower. Like it slowed down. So I feel like she could have just taken 150 pages out of this and then go ahead and merge that with the second book. That's kind of how I feel. Like that's preliminary thoughts because I haven't read the second book. Of course, it's not out yet, but yeah, I love From Blood and Ash. Like I'm a huge fan. There is a difference. There is a huge difference. I want to go back and rewatch this because when this interview came out, I hadn't read the book yet. I was in the middle of it, I think, and I didn't know if they were going to talk spoilers. Also, it was like 4 PM, and I forgot that she was doing that early, so I couldn't catch it because I was working. But I do want to go back and watch it now that I've read it, because JLA doesn't do interviews often, but I mean, Lacey's awesome, so yeah. I physically read this. I didn't listen to the audiobook. Yeah, I do know for this, it was very much, we have to wait for the next book. I feel like it's hard not to compare it to From Blood and Ash because that's been such a heavy hitter for her since it came out. Like that's really popular. Oh, that makes sense. I mean, sometimes you just don't want to deal with reading a book that might not be great. You know what happens. But I will say, comparatively to From Blood and Ash and to other fantasy romances, I'm very happy that this did not have such a I use the word naive, but I should say like unexperienced female character. Like she in the romance department had already had sex, she's been experienced, she's fine with it. So it wasn't like we had to, like wait for her to be okay with everything. Like the spice kicked in very quickly. Now I think, was it just saying that there's a spice level on the back of this book, like on the PR box? They gave like a spice level, which I don't think this was very spicy. So I don't know what the spice level was. Yep. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Amanda. Exactly. I loved that she was different. I really, really loved that she, we saw her past. We saw what her and, oh, I forgot the guy that she's been with like since like she was younger, like they were in the orphanage together. I like that they like more like brother and sister and they can like watch over each other and they have that like really cool friendship connection. And I like how they're like, okay, this is what we're doing right now. This is where I am. I've been here for 6 years and I'm going to try and stay here as long as possible. So we're like safe, like we're making money. We have a place to live. We're safe. And then obviously that all goes to shit. Yeah, that she's like, oh, I'm gonna walk into this, like there was a garden scene or whatever, and people were fighting, and like I feel like Poppy would have just been like, hey, what are you doing? And just walked right into the middle of it. Like, what is her name? I can never remember her name. It's a unique name. Oh, Callista. Yeah, Cat. What do they call her? Liz. Callista. I'm probably saying that wrong. Whatever. She like in the garden part, she like, I'm gonna eavesdrop because I would do that and see what happens, just to see what danger there is. Even when she found him, in that barn or thing, like shed, like with the stakes through his heart and his limbs and everything, he was like bleeding out and stuff. Even she like handled that with maturity, not immaturity, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't think it's spicy. I mean, there was a lot of sex scenes, but it wasn't like, oh my God. Like, I just read Not So Lucky by Trilina Pucci, okay? That book is 90% spice. It was good. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed it. But it was spicy. This wasn't super spicy. Like, they had spicy scenes, but that's just because she wasn't innocent. Like, she's already had a past and stuff like that. But I did like the person who like took care of her, the one that like, oh God, what's his name? Claude? I think that's his name. I really liked him, how he like really took her opinion about like her sightseeing. I feel like they didn't like describe that too well. I mean, I just find it, I feel like I could talk about this for a while, but I find it interesting what she did with like the fantasy aspects. Like you have the world building, but then you have like the magical aspect. And I honestly think, now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like this is more of a 4-star read than a 3.5. Now that I'm talking about it. And this is usually what happens when I talk about books and like I go pros and cons, we go back and forth. I liked him as a character. He wasn't like too overbearing. I did like that he was possessive and he was like, the whole time that I'm going to be here, you're mine. But then he leaves and then everything goes to shit. I was like, all right, well, that didn't make any sense, but okay. But that vision she had at the end, and I'm like, excuse me, what does that mean? Like, I have so many questions. Like, I didn't have questions throughout the whole book, or the ones that I did were answered. Like, who is she? Why does she have these magical powers? How can she kind of see into the future? It's kind of like an intuition thing, stuff like that. And now I'm like, now I have to wait for the next one to figure out Prince Thorn. Like, he comes all the way from, I was looking at the map while I was reading this because I was like, where is he coming from? He's coming all the way from up here, and they're all the way down there. I think they're in Primavera, right? Primavera, down here. I'm like, that's a long way to travel, you know? And then he brought his peoples. I'm like, where were you when he was getting stabbed? Anyway, Not So Lucky was extremely spicy. It's up there with some of the spiciest books I've read. And I was listening to the audiobook too, and I was like, I had to lower the volume when Brian was listening. I forgot what I was gonna say. Forgot what I was going to say. What are your thoughts? What are some things? What was your favorite like scene from this book? Tell me. Tell me what your favorite scene was from this book. Let me know. Or your least favorite scene. What's going to happen in book 2? I don't know actually how many books. I don't think she said. It could be in that interview with Lacey. I'm pretty sure. Oh, Hang Lee designed this dust jacket. Hang Lee did the Sarah Simone covers for the Thorn Chapel series. I really like that. I don't know if she said how many books that they're going to be in the series. She didn't really say. Obviously, there is going to be a book 2. I don't think he's going to kill her. I think it was some like vision. I feel like with her stuff, anything could change. So like if she has a vision about something, you can kind of, but we don't know that much like about her magical power. I feel like she doesn't really know. So it's like part of me thinks that he's not going to kill her because like something's going to change between them for sure. And that's going to change the like vision that she has. Because that vision was like right at the end. Maybe he realized something or found something out when he was gone, and then he like came back, and that's because she saw the vision, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna kill her. But also I'm like, that's so cool that they have like this soulmates aspect where like she is like the tether to him and he's not human. And that's why when he was starting to feel something for her, he's like, I'm starting to feel something for you and I don't know what it is, but I want to know why the orphanage like shielded her eyes. She's a very strong heroine, and I really, really like her. And it's really hard for me when we have just this 400-page first book in a series, because we really get to see her. But for me, when Poppy develops in like JLA series in the second and third book, where she really, really, really gets into her own, that's when I loved Poppy the most. So it's really hard to tell just like if she's going to be like one of my favorite heroines, you know what I mean? I'm just very glad that she's very different from Poppy and Serafina, because Poppy and Serafina are so freaking similar that I'm like, I don't know if she's doing that on purpose because it's a spinoff series, like a prequel, like hundreds of years, thousands of years, a long time in the future or in the past, like previous, that Serafina, and then now we get to Poppy and they're so similar. So, you know, I do like that she's strong heroine. Have a terrible one, yeah. Yes. Yeah, so they had a very, I wanna say physical connection, but physical in the way that it's like a physical chemistry that, when you know someone so well, you kinda can tell when they walk into a room, or like if you're in a restaurant and you're waiting for someone and if you know them really well and they walk into a room, it's one of those things where you kinda just like feel that person. I don't know, like I don't know, some of my closest friends, like with Brandon, like my parents, I kind of just know. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have that, but I feel like they have that, like, but on a more intense scale, like on a fantasy world, in a fantasy world, on a magical world, they've had that. So it's always been like very prevalent that their physical connection was there, not physical in like a sexual way. I mean, that was there too, don't get me wrong. But especially when he like feeds off of her like pleasure, I was like, that was interesting. I don't know if people like equate that to spice. I don't. I don't think that makes like the spicy peppers go up. Anyway, that's my spice scale. I do like how she like, used her powers too. I think they're the power couple. I'm interested to see where book 2 goes. Like, and I hope that she doesn't like split them up in book 2 and make them like enemies. Because then it's just dragging it out. Like we know they're gonna be together. Just tell the story. Oh, that's cool. I'll try and catch that one. I was like, one, who the hell? Because he wasn't there. And I was like, who the hell is chasing her right now? Like, this bitch is about to be caught. And he catches her. And he's like, I'll go catch you. And, okay, because he said this, someone asked, why doesn't he remember her? This is also why I have a question. This is my theory. Ready? I love to make theories based on fantasy romances, but I'm usually never right. But it's fun to think, So why doesn't he remember her? I think when he left to go do whatever he was doing Prince Thorn stuff, okay? I think he found something out and he came back and realized, I don't know if he was talking about I will catch you as in like I will always catch you. I don't know if he was talking about like I will always catch you as in like you're never going to get away from me because you're mine, because he's like possessive. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Or I will always catch you as in like I remember who you are. Because at this point, her eyes are showing because they took away the thing that was hiding. Like, that made her eyes brown. They took away that so she can see, anyone can see her eyes, like the eyes now. The color, that they're supposed to be, So I think that's something. I also think he said this before he looked into her eyes. Let me check. Okay, yeah, it doesn't say if he looked into her eyes or not, but I think it's too dark to see her eyes, so I'm interested. Very interested. I think that the Nala thing, the little pet name he called her, means something like something like this. Melissa, you said, are they fated to be together? Fated to be together, because at the dinner that they had where his friends joined, Prince Thorn's friends, and he was like, I hate that name. And she was like, I know it has multiple different meanings and stuff like that. I think it means something like, do you know how like Anne from Blood and Ash, they called her Poppy the Queen, but it was like the woven word for queen. I forgot what it was, but I feel like it's something similar to that. Not queen, but yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, he was hunting her as a child. That's why they were looking to everyone's eyes, but the orphanage or the people who gave her to the orphanage hid her eyes. That's why they're brown. The bathing scene, I like They had 2, right? There was one where she had to help him into the shower because he was trying to heal, but he was, like, so wounded at the beginning of the book, and I was like, "Wow, oh my god." Like, his eyes were gorged out, and, like, she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna get naked," but then, like, by the time she did that, he was like, "Oh, my eyes have grown back, I can see you now." Like, "Oh, okay." But also there was the bathing scene where wants her to come into his chambers, and he's like, "Take a bath with me." She's like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yes." Love them. It's a very interesting read. You know, I'm gonna look up on Goodreads and see what a couple other people are saying. Some interested. With the I can't remember this. Fall of Ruin and Wrath. I'm really tired of whatchamacallit. Fantasy romance is having the weirdest titles that I can never remember. A couple other people besides like Monica, I see. Laura DNF'd it, but people have rated it highly. 4. Just for Honest Fiction rated it 4. Oh, Sam. I follow Sam. Not this Sam. This is different on Instagram. Interesting. It has a 4.17 rating out of 2000. There does not seem to have a second book on Goodreads yet, so I don't know if she announced whenever it's coming out. But yeah, interested. Do you guys like the blue cover or the red cover? I actually like the blue cover more, only because From Blood and Ash is all red, and I'm like, I don't need another red fantasy romance on my shelf. I don't see her review on Goodreads. I know she was in the middle of it, so I don't know if she actually did finish it. Yeah. We usually talk about it. Like, I haven't asked her. She told me she couldn't make it. I hated the red cover. Yeah. I didn't hate it. Like, it's still cool, but I just didn't want another red cover. Because From Blood and Ash is red and black. Crown of Guild and Bones has red. War of Two Queens has red. Shadow in the Ember has red by her. I'm like, I don't need another red cover by you. I do like the blue cover. Yeah, it's cute. Like, it's cute. I'll say that. I feel like the back of the book, it says she lives by her intuition, he feeds off her pleasure. I feel like that they're trying to market this as like a super spicy book, but it's not. And it kind of bugs me that they did that, because I think that fundamentally the fantasy, like to the core of this book, the fantasy world building was actually done pretty well comparatively to From Blood and Ash. But oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about people might think that is the From Blood and Ash series. I like. There's purple editions. I didn't know Bookish Box was doing it. I mean, they did From Blood and Ash, so. Um. Okay, yeah. So it seems like I don't know if this is like a plot hole with the magic, or maybe she's like purposely keeping it very like surface level. Because if you think about it, she's never really asked anyone about her powers. One, because she's always been told to like keep it hidden. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know from who, but she's like kind of kept it on the down low. She doesn't want a ton of people knowing that she has it. But I think because she never had anyone to ask, she never like developed her powers. So I wonder if her intuition is going to be better in the second book, because like the intuition is just more like like she described as like a voice in the back of your head, which is a very like natural way of describing intuition, I guess you could say. So I did expect her to have a little bit better like understanding herself. You know what I mean? Like she knows how to do it in her own way. So I do agree with this. But I wonder if she's like trying to keep it on the download for this book and then expand it more. But then again, if you're gonna do that, just put book 1 and 2 together. Like if this is about to be another 6-book series, I'm gonna be kind of mad. I mean, yes, I'm gonna read it, but I'm also gonna be kind of mad. Yeah. I mean, some people say Colin Hoover's spicy, and I'm like, what Colin Hoover book are you reading? So, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like, I am okay if a book is closed door or it doesn't have really any spice other than like one sex scene. I'm there for the romance, and if the romance is super spicy, great. And if the romance is not super spicy, great. As long as it's a good book, I'll read it. But people on TikTok really blow up spice. Like, is this spicy? Oh, spice equals a good book. And to me, that doesn't. You know what I mean? Because I've read a lot of like spicy and smutty books that on my rating aren't 5 stars. So I agree. Fairy Loot. Oh my god, I didn't know this. Okay, he knew. I feel like they did describe or figure out with Claude, whatever the hell his name is. I'm so bad at pronouncing things. Don't come for me. I don't think they actually described how she started working for him and how he knew about her powers. I don't think they actually did, which is interesting that I never got through that. But yeah, he like when everything went to hell, he just like dipped. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Where'd you go? A lot of people died in this book, but a lot of bad people died in this book, and I liked it. I liked that he was like no holds barred. Cause like I always compare it to From Blood and Ash. Kaz took a really long time to be that like cutthroat person. Like he will kill someone for talking bad about Poppy. Do you know what I mean? So it's interesting the way like he was just automatically there. If it's 6 books, I'm gonna lose it. Lately Spice. Yeah, I mean, there's only so many different ways you can write sex scenes, you know? But also, I think that the amount of sex scenes in a book don't always matter to me. Like Catherine Cowles, I love her romance books, and they usually only have one sex scene. And that's by the time the characters get together and she wants to write this like emotional sex romance scene where they like come together and it's great and fantastic. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how it goes. Dominique Perry kind of did that. But then you have other people that, you know, like other romance books that have like Not So Lucky. That is a very Trelina got very creative with the group activities in that book. I'll tell you that. So it's interesting. But I do get this where sometimes like if I'm reading a book, there's too many scenes that seem the same and then they blend together and I'm like, wait, was that in this book or that book? No, I totally get it. Yeah. I also, for some reason with fantasy romance, it's not that I lower my spice level expectation, but I lower my kind not expectation of the spice, but I think with fantasy romance, the fantasy is going to come first and the romance is going to come next. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like it's just a contemporary romance where it's literally totally about the couple getting together and living their life and doing whatever if they're enemies to lovers, all those things. With fantasy, you have to develop the fantasy world and the magical part, whatever that may be, and then you have the romance. So there's much more to develop. So throwing in more spice is like just filler that sometimes you got to take out. Claw, whatever this name is, he was extremely annoying. I was like, I liked him at first because I was like, I like that you're protecting her. I like that you're like watching out for her. But also, how do you not see that your cousin was hurting her and being an asshole to her? Hello. If we only get it once a year, I hope that it's 3 books because Wicked is 3 books. She has another series that's 3 books. So I'm hoping that because it's with Bramble, I'm hoping it's going to be 3 books. Because I think that pacing could be fine because usually book 2, book 2 is not a filler book though. I did not read Den of Vipers. I never got on that train. Exactly. Exactly. I love the fantasy romance that there's this fantasy and I can like dive into this world and it's totally different. Not what I'm ever going to experience in my life. And then you have this like really nice romance. And most of the time it's like a soulmates, fated mates kind of a thing where they have like that super instant connection and chemistry and not in like only sexual way. I agree. We have another From Blood and Ash book coming out at the end of the month. Well, 31st. I think that's a spin-off. So it's the Flesh and Fire world, but still. I'm like, JLA, I love you and I love this series, but this is getting a lot. Girl, this is getting a lot. talked a lot. I thought this was going to be like so quick because Sam wasn't here and I was kind of nervous. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to have anything to talk about. I guess to close out, thank you guys for reading along and joining us. Even if you DNF'd it, thank you for chatting with us. I appreciate it. Let me know what you're going to read tonight. I'm going to read Stephanie Archer's. I have read a book too. Oh, hang on. I've not reread the second book. Did I? A Light in the Flame, A Shadow in the Ember. Is it those two? I don't think I'm okay. So that spinoff series is so similar to the From Blood and Ash series with the female character and the main male character and the way things are going. I don't know what she's trying to do. I don't understand it. Will I read this book, the third book? Yes. Will I be confused? Probably. Also, yes. That's okay. We have a pick, but I don't know if Sam, like, I don't know what time our live show is going to be, and I don't know if, like, for sure we're going to do this book. So we'll post. We'll post about it. I don't know what it is. When Jess was here, she was like sending me all this stuff, and I was like, what do I do? She's like, I'm going to pre-order it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to pre-order it too, because I don't want to miss out. I don't want to miss out on shit. I got lucky in getting the first printing with the sprayed edges of Fourth Wing, because I walked into Barnes & Noble before it actually came out and just saw it sitting on the shelf and thought, oh, this is a very pretty book. I'm going to buy it. Totally cover buy for me, okay? I want the black edges for Iron Flame. I have to pre-order that from somewhere. If I pre-order from Barnes & Noble, do I get the black sprayed edges? Please, someone answer. Anyway, I don't know what it's about. I don't know what it could be. Unless she's releasing the third book at the same time, but I highly doubt she's going to do that. I don't know if it's going to be a prequel. I don't know. I literally have no clue, but I pre-ordered it because I didn't want to have FOMO. That's my answer. Oh, Melissa, yes. Okay, so if I pre-order from Barnes & Noble, because I want to like go into Barnes & Noble and get it, but also at the same time, what if I go in expecting I'm going to get on release day, expecting I'm going to get the black sprayed edges, and then they're not there anymore, and then I missed out? That's going to drive me crazy. And I'm not paying thousands of dollars for a first print. I will share it with you. Come on. Hang on. I'm going to go find it right now. Because just sent me a link. Because I was like, what? She was like, look it up. I'm like, no, just tell me the link. Because it's Untitled Power 23 release. And someone did say it is on, that it is tied to Rebecca Yarros. Come on, let me find my messages. Come on. Okay, I just sent it to you. Come on Instagram. Yeah, on Instagram. Oh yeah, Monica. Hang on. Monica. There you go. Yeah. Okay, I just sent it to you. Okay, got it. Come on. Lovely, lovely. I'm doing the Lord's work right now. If anyone else wants it, if I know you're on Instagram, message me and I'll text it to you. Oh, I'll post it in my stories. I did the same cover by before the hype. Yep. Oh, see, I saw it in Barnes & Noble. I went with Brandon and I was like, look at this book. It's dragons. And he's like, is this like a dragon romance? Like where they like, the dragon like fucks a girl? Because that's weird. And I was like, you know what? I don't know. Could be though. And then I picked it up. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. So yeah, that's all I have for this live show. I'm excited to go sit down and dive into the book that I'm reading to more of, well, I'm listening to Best Laid Plans because it's free to listen in KU. Free to read and listen in KU. I mean, I'm not, just how it goes. Oh, I didn't even realize, April, that it was cheaper on Target. Um, okay, this special edition is like $40 though, and I have the paperback of that cover, and I'm like, I don't need another special edition. I read Killers and Monsters, and he's legit a dragon shifter, so he can have sex in his human form, right? And he can like slightly shift, like he'd have start having scales and stuff. And in his house, in his like apartment penthouse, he can shift into this massive dragon, like massive dragon, and he can have sex in that form. And like he has like a special power that the person that he's having sex with like expands and like adjust because his pee gets bigger. But he has two. He has two peepees. Okay, April, I want to read this because they showed up in the second book. And now I was extremely interested because Medusa is the third book, and that's female. I'm going to type it. It's a polyamorous, so like it's MFM, but also MMF. It's just all poly. He's a dragon daddy. Anyway, she gets married off at 18 because it's just like a mafia world too, which I was not expecting. Listen, I bought this book for free, thinking like, okay, this will be fun. But then I read the synopsis more, and I was like, I want to read this. So as soon as I got it for Stuff Your Kindle Day, I read it, and it's a mafia. She's a female character. Like her uncle marries her off to the dragon daddy. Okay, he owns his own mafia. He's like head of his own mafia world, family, whatever you want to call it. He like puts her away in this mansion, and her bodyguard goes with her. But her bodyguard starts falling for her. But he made a deal with her husband that if he's staying in this mansion in the house with her and watching over her and keeping her safe because he's not there, that he cannot touch her. So then he becomes this like kind of stalker where he has pictures on his phone of her. So then after 10 years, Dragon Daddy comes back and was like, maybe I should have like a relationship with my wife. Like now that she's older, she's actually a woman. She's not just 18. You know, like maybe I can do something. And then they start having a thing. Then it was great. It was a fantastic good time. Yeah. Go read it. Everyone go read it. Go read it. Go read it. Go read it. Yeah. I posted it for Stuff Your Kindle. It's like everyone needs to go read this. Yep. I mean, they're in Kindle Unlimited too, so you don't have to buy it. But yeah, I'm excited. I want to read the first book before I go and read the third book that comes out this month. So yeah, that's just a great little dragon shifter that I was like, he's a legit dragon. Oh no, of course, Zodiac. Why did I say that word? Zodiac Academy, one of the characters shifts into a dragon, and he's one of my favorite male characters. I love him. Love him so much. Okay. Well, I'll get off here. So I've been talking by myself for 45 minutes. Thank you guys for chatting along so much in the comments, keeping me company. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for reading along if you did, and joining and chatting. You guys are the bestest. I love you guys. So yeah, that's all I have. I never know how to end this when I'm by myself. Yes, Cleo's covers are very pretty. But thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Have a good night. Happy reading.